Good morning. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and a lot of you may have seen the story of Rachel Dolezal. I think that's her name. She's the head of the NAACP in Spokane, Washington, who was recently revealed to not be as black as she claimed to be. In fact, the people are saying that she's not black at all. And to kind of talk about this and flesh it out a little bit, I wanted to speak to my homegirl partner in crime, Miss Yvette Carnell. How you doing today, Yvette?
Good. How about you?
Doing well. And brother Benjamin Dixon from the BenjaminDixonShow.com. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well, really well. Okay, so Yvette, I want to start with you. I'm sure over at BreakingBrown.com, you guys are going to have a good conversation about this. What did you think about this story when you first heard what this lady had apparently done?
I'm sorry. I still think the story's hilarious. I'm trying. I'm trying. It was her parents who basically said, if I'm correct, that she on her birth certificate she's white, and it's just this is just the most hilarious story to me. If the NAACP has been spoofed and allowed a white woman to kind of lead the organization, even on a local level, I'm just like, what's going on with your organization? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is just the biggest and most hilarious embarrassment I think I've seen in a while. And that was just my. I'm still laughing. I guess it's not funny, but I can't I can't help it.
Well, we can't say that it's the worst embarrassment that has hit the NAACP because
No,
they
no.
just have such a beautiful collection of ridiculous moments that this
But
is this is
this
just
one's
one
actually
of many.
But this
Mhm.
is actually funny. Like a lot of their embarrassment, they aren't funny things. It's just like, this is pretty awful. This is pretty bad. But this is like this is sort of actually funny to me. Like I'm
Hmm.
just all giggles this morning. I'm sorry. I'm sure there are all sort of ramifications and repercussions this could have, but I just can't stop laughing.
Wow. So Ben, give me your thoughts, man. What did you think when you saw this?
I'm sorry, I don't have anything too much more serious than Yvette has because it was. I mean, Twitter took this woman through. And you know what? The thing about it was, it's like it's not. We don't. uh, I'm curious to see the ramifications of it, like Yvette said, because I noticed a lot of people on Twitter, even though we kind of drug her through the mud just because of how funny it was, no one was really destructive in terms of attacking her. It's kind of imitation is the highest form of flattery, but she just took that one step too far, So that's really where we are right now. Now there are some implications in terms of some of the classes that she taught as a professor,
Hmm.
as an African American woman, and some of the lectures she gave, speaking on the plight of African American women. And I'm just curious if there's any recordings of those things because I want to see how far she went to sell this. How far does she go with this blackness? And it's something when your parents start selling you out and start trolling you. It's like her parents are trolling her at this point. They're like, she's not black. She's been Caucasian all of her life. And that's kind of where it is right now. So, but one last thing, and I'll be quiet. I personally, just me personally, I would take her trying to be black versus a Raven Simone who just wants to deny that she's black. So if we can
Hmm.
do a racial draft real quick, like we gave show, I'll trade one for the other.
Well, you know what? Well, Yvette, I want to ask you about this. I thought about this today, and I was thinking about whether we should find it funny or appalling or whatever that she did this. And here's one thought that came to mind. Um, you know, people are constantly, when it comes to gender, they're constantly saying that my gender is the gender I identify with. If I identify as a woman, then I'm a woman. I should be able to go to the girls' bathroom or whatever. If I identify as a man, then I'm a man, right? Society should treat me as a man. I wonder why you can't do the same thing with race. I mean, if Caitlyn Jenner can have a penis, why can't this black woman have white blood, but have some very authentic blackness associated with her? It's not like she just pretended to be black one time just as a gag, like this Indian guy that did it so he could take advantage of or prove that affirmative action was flawed. She seems to have lived the life of a black woman and really identified with black issues, fought on behalf of black issues, etc. So why can't we just let this pass and just kind of say, okay, we respect you for what you're doing.
I think you can let it pass. I think the problem wasn't that she was, I think when you look at Black history, Black people have had a lot of white comrades. There are a lot of white people who are further to the left than your Black people in the Congressional Black Caucus and everywhere else. So I'm not opposed to that. And you could even make the argument that a white person who is liberal and who has a history of arguing on behalf of black people could lead that organization. I think the problem that people have, the problem that people have is the pretending, right? Because I mean, I'm a fair skinned African American, and my naps kind of give me away. But I think when people saw her, they would think. I mean, I saw a picture of her with a head wrap on. So I think the idea is that, dude, why are you pretending? You don't have to be black to advocate for black people and do all that stuff. Why are you pretending though that you're black? Like, this kind of imitation is just questionable. It's always, you look at at white people back in the day who passed. You know what I mean? Why couldn't they pass? They had a better life or whatever, but they were considered traitors. So it's this kind of trying to be someone else. We don't have no problem with letting you in. We know that advocates for black people aren't just black people. Some black people are the worst, are not advocates at all, and go on Fox News and talk about how black children should be beat up. So we understand that and we welcome you, but don't put the head wrap on. I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, no, no. It is funny. It's a little bit how it reminds me of, like, how in hip hop you have what they used to call the wiggers. That I don't like that term anymore, but but it was a term people used a lot in the '90s, and she's like sort of a female wigger, a figure, I guess we might call it. So Ben, you actually told me about a video today. I'm gonna let you drop this bomb. You told me about a video that you saw where this woman's being interviewed and being confronted about this racial identity issue. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so it was an interview that came out on Wednesday, and that this is where it all started. And this news reporter, he's the real MVP in this whole thing because he did an entire interview. It's kind of nefariously so, right? He was kind of setting her up for the entire interview about her plight and the leadership and the death threats that she's gotten. And then at the very end, he pulls out a picture that she claims of a guy that is her father, and asked if that was her father. And then she said, he basically was, blowing her spot right there on television, and then turned and showed her a picture of the two people who said that they're her parents, her biological parents, a white man and a white mother. And she walks off of the interview because she really had nothing to say. So he set her up really. I mean, this is going to sound bad, but he set her up ever so lovely in terms of the gotcha moment in terms of TV. He knew what he was doing, and he set her up, and it was kind of really embarrassing, kind of hard to watch, but funny at the same time. She has been selling this, that she's been black all of this time. And back to something Yvette said, you don't have to be black. I mean, there are guys out there who speak just as proficiently on the black cause as well, better than some of those people who are all those folks that go on Fox News and defame the black cause. You have people like Tim Wise who will get out there and he says a lot of things that are very pertinent to the black community. So it's not as though we would have rejected her. She just didn't have to go as far as claiming that she was something that she wasn't.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, he really did set her up. I mean, it was so bad. I mean, Yvette, you gotta see this. I mean,
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did your dad ever make it to Spokane in January for the ribbon cutting?
No, actually, he has unfortunately has bone cancer and was not able to get cleared for surgery, and so
God, that sounds like a terrible break for you. I'm sure that he would have been very proud of you. Is that your dad?
yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father? Right there?
You have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's a very, I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of. I did tell you that yes, that's my dad, and
Do
he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents?
I'm
Are they
not-
white?
I
the reporter definitely asked her all 8 minutes worth of questions about her plight as a black woman and the struggle and all this other stuff. And then he comes back and he pulls out a picture and he's like, "Is this your dad?" They start talk. She starts talking about her dad and how dad couldn't be here. The point he's showing a picture of a black man, and then he says, "Well, if this is your dad, then what about this guy?" And that's when she freezes up. And she just gets offended by the question, and he's like, "Are you African American?" And she just kind of walks away. She doesn't even finish the interview, and so Ben actually, well, I ain't gonna put this on Ben because Ben did say this off camera, but yeah, I'm sorry, but I already said your name. So you and I were having a conversation, and we were both speculating openly, maybe this black guy really is her father. I mean, people, they say once you go black, you know the rest, right? So maybe her mother, 30, 40, 50 years ago, how old this woman is, just could not resist the amazing appeal of strong black men and snuck away from the house for a couple hours. And here we are 40 years later. What do you think about that possibility that maybe her father actually is black and she really is, she is a black woman? What do you think?
Well, I think there's always a possibility, right? That there's something we don't know in a story. There's always a possibility that she's not hiding that she's white, that she's hiding that, her mother had an affair or something else, sketchy happened in the background. So I think we should always be open to that possibility. You don't know everything. There's a 24-hour news cycle, and we're talking about it now. But we all leave open the possibility that this, there could be some other stuff going on. There are a lot of possibilities. There's a reason why she got up and left, but we don't know for sure why she got up and left that interview. So we should say right here, right now, yeah, we leave open the possibility there's some other stuff going on. But if she did pretend to be white and she has two white parents and she was going around running this organization, I mean, I mean, that's something. That's the stuff movies are made of, right there.
Okay, so Ben, I'm gonna let you get the last word, man. So how do you think the NAACP should handle this on a national level? I mean, you got an organization that's been defamed and embarrassed and exposed, in the past, in ways that just were not favorable. You had the situation with Donald Sterling, basically buying his NAACP award out of LA. Do you think that? How do you think they're going to respond, and how do you think they should respond? I mean, do you think that they should have greater control over their local chapters? I mean, is that even possible? What do you think?
So I'm not an NAACP scholar. I don't know enough about them in terms of their control on the local level. But in terms of the national controversy, it still remains to be seen how much of a controversy this really is, right? Or did we just have a really good laugh at the expense of this girl who wanted to be down so much that she put on the headscarf? So if it turns out to be a controversy such that they have to do something, they really have to look and see what are their guidelines. What do their guidelines say about this type of about the leadership? I've seen, and I've been looking it up. There have been some white presidents in the history. It's not of the NAACP. It's not the fact that she's white. It's the fact that she lied about it. That's the problem with it. And do they have a code of ethics, code of conduct with regard to how a person obtains the leadership position? So that's something. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people in your audience that knows way more about the NAACP and can speak on that regard. But it may just turn out to be something that we all are just getting some really good Friday morning Freedom Friday laughs out of.
Well, I'll tell you, it is a controversy. I think it's something that that they are going to feel compelled to respond to, just because everybody's talking about it. And whether or not she did the wrong thing or not, I think that's still yet to be determined. I mean, she may just be a black woman who's just saying, "Look, my daddy's black, so I can be black too." And then and then beyond that, she may have just rejected her whiteness and said, I don't want to be a part of that. But I think that you're both absolutely correct that it is kind of like the implication that there was a fraud at work here that I think might upset some people. So I don't blame them for that. So anyway, Ben, I want you guys to get back to your day, and Ben, I want you to get back to your family, and so I want to say thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
No
Doctor,
problem.
for having me.
All right. So, everybody, this is Miss Yvette Carnell from BreakingBrown.com and Mr. Benjamin Dixon from the BenjaminDixonShow.com. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. And until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, be educated, and stay black if you really are that way.
Really
Peace.